Hello. So we are going to look at the 2025 forecast for what feels like endless wars, specifically looking at the world leaders in these countries: Palestine, Israel, Russia, Ukraine. And let me just say, this is going to be a tough reading. So stick with it till the end because there's a lot of reveals. Welcome. My name is Lydia. This is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. And on this channel, I often like to read the charts of famous people, celebrities, politicians, even countries sometimes, because I think it helps us to better understand our own lives and our own astrology. So welcome again. If this sparks interest for you, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. There is a lot happening in our world. And at this now time, it feels like there is this intensifying pulse. Yesterday, I had such anxiety running through me just writing this. I did do something a little different too. I made a blog so that you can go to the Kharma Khameleon website and you can check out the full read. And also, just putting it out there, we're getting kind of close enough to 2025 that if you are interested in a Bazi Chinese astrology reading, I know, drum roll, hold your breath, because here's the exhale, my gift to you. Anyone getting a Bazi astrology written chart, which is a full PDF plus 30 minutes sit down with me to do a Q&A, so much fun. I will give you, at no extra charge, your update for 2025 with a month-by-month forecast specific to your Bazi astrology. I know, it's a big gift, and you're welcome ahead of time. But seriously, the closer we get to a new year, the better it is for you to get this astrology, your astrology read, so that you have a full understanding of how to go into a year as big as 2025 is going to be, because it is a year of the snake. It is a year that returns us to fire after many, many years. I think I said in my last video, it's been like 8 years. All right, so this is the blog. I'm going to read from that. I also have a lot of notes, and yeah. And also, so important to say this. This is astrology. This is not political commentary. I have no opinion on any of this, except that I would love for everybody to just stop beating up on each other and put down weapons and find a way to negotiate and communicate in a non-violent way would be awesome. But this is our world, and this is how humans seem to do. I don't know. This is how we do it. So that being said, please be kind. Please be respectful. If you want to make a comment, really think about it, because the worst thing to do is to promote violence in our words and our thoughts and actions. And so with that being said, think about maybe leaving constructive criticism or an interesting question. If nothing else, it's a time to get curious. All right, so, yeah, this is not one of my yay, woohoo, so much fun readings, but it is interesting. And if nothing else, I'll take interesting. All right, so we are going to begin with the leader of Ukraine. And I apologize in advance if I get pronunciations wrong, anything wrong. I know it's the internet. You get persecuted just for mispronouncing something. All right, Vladimir Zelensky, Ukrainian president. He is born January 25th, 1978 at 14 o'clock. He has a very yin chart. Makes me think of RFK Jr. Very yin chart. Not a chart that screams, let's be the leader of a country. Not at all. But what I'm going to do is deep dive into where he is in his astrology. And I'll do this for each of the leaders, each of the countries, where they are in their current astrology and what's going on going into 2025. This is going to be a long video. I cannot make this any shorter. I'm going to try and stick with this as best I can because I know I can go off on tangents. But stick with me because the information in here is really serious. As I look at it, you know, astrology gives us this objective window into the underlying energies way deeper than headline news and way deeper than even what's happening on the streets of Ukraine, of Russia, of what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Israel. Below the street level, deep, deep in the energetic body of these countries, of these leaders, is what's happening. And so for that reason, it feels kind of like a privilege to have that window into this. All right, so Zelensky, born in the year of a yin fire snake, month of yin water ox, day of yin fire pig, and the hour of yin fire sheep. Okay, so those are the 4 pillars. And in a lot of ways, you don't even need to understand the mechanics, just like in Western astrology. You don't need to know oppositions, conjunctions, and which planets are sitting in which houses. At the end of the day, we're just looking at the information. Okay, just so that you aren't like, what is she talking about? Bazi Chinese astrology is based on the 5 elements. I've been a master Bazi astrologer since 2002. And I have clients worldwide. And again, I would love to do your Bazi astrology and see what your 2025 is going to be for you. So his chart is, again, I said this before, 2 yin, which is like, what does that mean? It means that he's more in his divine feminine. It's somebody that's a little bit more passive. It tends to be somebody that's very nurturing and compassionate, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful quality for a man to present going into his work. It softens that edge of aggression that we often see in our world leaders. So looking at his current luck cycle, which began in October of 2024, which means he's about to shift into a new luck cycle. And this is massive. It is a massive shift because he's now coming into a period marked by a yang earth monkey. And what that means for him, if you heard me, he's born in the year of a snake. The snake and the monkey form a semi-penalty or punishment. And you're going to hear this a lot, both in this reading and in a lot of the readings heading into 2025 through 2025, because the snake and this penalty, this punishment, when it shows up in your chart, this is nothing to mess with. It is nothing to mess with. And I did a video about that, about the ways that our astrology can be afflicted and how to work with those challenges. All right, so this is a force pushing him to reinvent his life. This time that he's now entering into. And it's a time that's really speaking of him taking a massive leap of faith. A revolution, a retaliation, a rebellion. It's taking risky action, really thinking from his gut, intuitively, thinking about all of this. And the elements influencing him in this coming decade are very much about taking action towards change and finding success through those actions, which is interesting because in this next 10 years, you're seeing this. There's so much change, and with that change comes success. And tucked into the monkey, the influences here, the yang water and the yang earth inside of that yang metal of the monkey, speaks of his career, family, his obligations, and again, this underground motivation of action that is revolutionary, retaliatory. It's like big shifting change for him. And remember, the astrology of a leader, what they're going through in their own lives, and how that translates to how they lead their country, and then to look at the country's astrology. It's very much like if you knew the exact time that your company was incorporated, and you look at that astrology, you can very much see how the leader of, Amazon, or Joe Blow's hardware store down the street, like those if those still exist, I hope they do. But you can marry the owner or the manager of a business to the business itself to see how one is impacting the other. All right, so, So 2025, the forecast for Zelensky, leader of Ukraine, is this. The Yinwood snake hits his year pillar of the Yin fire snake. So it's hitting his day, his year. And this is the thing. When you have the animal of the year hitting your year, your birth year, a lot of people will be like, oh, I was born in the year of the snake. This is my year. No, that is not a true assumption. There is so much more to take into account. It's seen like a competition. That's what it looks like, energetically speaking. So when it hits your year, it suggests movement, abrupt, sudden movement of home, going to jail, all the places a person could go, right? I don't see him going to jail, but there's movement of some kind. Maybe he goes to a safe house, that kind of thing, someplace where he's going to be protected. Maybe he moves his home. Maybe he leaves Ukraine. I don't know. All the different things that can happen with movement. But it is a very action-oriented year for him. Okay. What else can we say about this? The snake is in conflict with his own day master of the pig. The pig is yang water. The snake is yang fire. That is so steamy. And this, there's lots going on here. It threatens his career, which is represented by water. It weakens his own life force of fire. And February 2025 is the month of the tiger, forming a full punishment with the snake and his luck cycle monkey, making this the most dangerous month for him. Followed by the snake month of May, and then the monkey month of August. And you'll hear me say that a lot next year, because those are the punishment zodiac animals. And if they're present in your chart and these months come in, they can form or they can kind of complete the punishment, or they can accentuate, amplify, magnify the impact of the penalty already present in your chart, if that makes sense. All right, so June 2025 will give him a surge of big support. The new luck cycle of the monkey is giving him a partial punishment, implying he needs to watch his back, his finances, his safety, his reputation. Everything is at risk in the next 10 years. The 2025 snake only reinforces this penalty that's marking him. He's got to be careful that his path isn't fraught with a revolution that costs him his life or his livelihood. And there's real danger here. And I think that by 2034, his next luck cycle, he'll be out of politics entirely. Like, go from comedian to politician to embattled country in a war. You know, what a leap that he has been through in his life. And I think after however this ends and however his career ends, I don't imagine that he is going to continue in politics. I think he's going to move into a private life. What a hell he's been through with his country. So now we go to Ukraine. What's going on with Ukraine? Ukraine, let me get to that page, is born the 24th of August, 1991 at 1631. And this country was born or established in the year of a yin metal sheep, month of yang fire monkey, day of yang fire tiger, and hour of yang fire monkey. I know. It's got a tiger, it's got a monkey. What's the missing link? Is the snake. So you can just literally drop the mic, drop the bomb right there. This is not a happy time. And oh yeah, if you listened, watched the first video I did about this war with Russia, 2016 is when Ukraine moved into its current luck cycle of a yin water snake. The missing link. Tiger, snake, monkey. And when you look at this completion, it sets them up for exactly what they're going through. It's a threat to their sovereignty as a nation. And the yin water of this snake, water for the Ukrainian chart, the 5 elements, is very strong in metal and fire, but very weak in water. And so this water comes in, but the yang fire of the snake makes it very steamy. It's hard for it to really sustain itself. And that water is what holds like the power to this whole astrology. This country has a strong sense of its own identity, and it has, a strong potential economy when things are going well. I mean, after all, they're known as the breadbasket of Europe. So they had a really good economy. They had, all the things. But now it's like that's threatened, and their own sovereignty is threatened. So the true crisis of this nation is that it was established with conflict. It's like built in, it's self-generated. The tiger is at war with the monkey. It's yang wood against yang metal. It's like built in conflict. So you have all of that going on in there too. So, and interestingly enough, the day pillar of the tiger is weak. It's the only wood in here. It's so very much about fire and metal. And all that fire drains the wood. It weakens its own day master. That's not a good thing. And this also really speaks of younger generations and how the Ukrainians are able to work and generate a revenue. That's also in conflict. And so the current luck cycle, which is going to run until 2026. Now that's an interesting thing, because I think after next year, there is going to be this great shift for this country, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm seeing that Ukraine could fall by 2026 with this penalty, this punishment. And again, watch for February, May, and August of 2025 to be pivotal months in this conflict. The fact that Zelensky now will have this penalty as well is further evidence that I think this war is going to end in Russia's favor. And I'll just leave it at that. And again, this is just astrology and what intuitively is coming to me. And I was having like heart palpitations writing this yesterday. I had to stop and go outside. I was feeling so much of the pain and suffering of war inside of myself. This is not easy. Oh, so now we're going to go to the other side of this and look at Vladimir Putin, born October 7th, 1952. Where are you? There you are. So he's born at 8:30. His Bazi astrology is Yang, water dragon. The month of Yin, earth rooster, the day of Yang, fire dog, and the hour of Yang, water dragon. So right away, and also his life pillar is in a Yang wood dragon, which is 2024. 2024 brings in this very, 2024 brings in a fourth dragon. This is the mark of a dictator. I have said this before in my previous video about Vladimir Putin. He also has the dog in his day. This is somebody that is a real, he's about, he fights for what he believes in. He fights for justice, but he also demands that he has absolute power. No one questions him. That is absolutely needed. All right. So, his current luck cycle began in 2023 of a yin fire snake. And this time of his life is very much an identity crisis. There is exploring himself and all the roles that he plays and how he plays them, who's got his back, who doesn't have his back. And the 2024 battle against his dragons, with this year of the dragon, with an overwhelm of earth. This is like manic action, explosive action. And he is backing throughout the year as well from outside resources like other countries giving him ammunition and bombs, guns, all the things. Yeah, and there's something else here. There's something else here. And I know that other astrologers have mentioned this about his health. So 2025 comes in with this Yinwood snake, pulls focus on this luck cycle that he has just gotten into. The fire is all about him, and he's actually a weak person. He's a fire person, but his chart is very wet. He has 35% water, 30% earth, 19% metal, trace amount of wood, what nourishes him, and his own fire is only 13%, just slightly weak, but he has very little support. Most of his focus is on what he does and what he rules, what his job is. That's really where all of his attention is. So, and the fact that the pattern of his chart is metal really speaks of somebody that's got a beleaguered chart, which is interesting because it's kind of like there's a whole lot of power, but there isn't a lot of energy behind it. So, so 2025 is amplifying this current luck cycle for him. And it's the wood of 2025 sitting on top of the snake speaks directly of government and his role as a political leader. Okay, so there's something hidden here. And this health issue may not even be known to him, though I think it is. And this is something that is festering under the surface, not out in the open. And other than health issues, 2025 is not that bad of a year for him because fire is his element. Wood supports him. So in that, even though, there's some issues here, he could find himself with money, a windfall of money, which can come from outside resources, like somebody giving him money. But it feels very much like it's very centered on him in 2025 and throughout the next 10 years. It's a real focus on him. And front and center is this shift in role, shift in identity. And again, this festering under the hood potential illness. And what I was seeing was cancer. And I think that this year could maybe bring that out into the open. We'll see. But overall, not that bad of a year for Vladimir Putin. Let's look at Russia. Russia is born or established December 25th, 1991 at 5:25. This is a yin metal sheep year, a yang metal rat month, the day of yin earth snake, and the hour of yin fire rabbit. And interesting that one of the first things that I see is the month and the hour of the rat and the rabbit shows how this is, wow, how this is. This is weird. This suggests a country that is plagued with damaging relationships, bizarre scenarios, dodgy politics that harm people, like corruption or economic restraints. Yeah, it shows kind of a country that's got some very strange relationship dynamics going on in relation to, specifically in relation to older generations, the government, and its people. Yeah. Like the government, comes off as Like there's just a dynamic here that feels very wonky. And so, further in we look and see that the life pillar for Russia is Yang metal tiger, and that in itself is combative. Yang metal, tiger is Yang wood. This shows hidden dangers. It's a hidden danger. Why? Because they're born in the day of a snake. And the tiger is hidden. It's a life pillar. It's not actively in the 4 pillars. So this is interesting. Also interesting to note that Russia is going to move into a new luck cycle in 2027. So, this is, yeah. Their current luck cycle is yin fire rooster, and even that is combative because metal and fire I always see as gunfire, explosives, warlike energy, and a lot of action, a lot of productivity, a focus on, in this current time, 2017 to 2027, a lot of focus on taking action, being productive, focus on banking, government, outside resources, funding of all kinds coming from other countries. It's also a time focused on possibly faith and education. Now, 2025 forecasts that this Yinwood snake is going to challenge the sovereignty of this nation, born on the day of the snake. Even as Ukraine is crumbling, don't think that Russia isn't impacted by the fallout, literally. And remember that hidden tiger is a real threat in 2025. It's hidden enemies. And in the wrath of war, is there ever a real victory? Yeah, So the snake of 2025 is going to hit up against Russia's day of the snake. It is going to electrify that life pillar of the tiger, and it shows hidden enemies. However, all this goes down, even if Russia does become the victor, with Vladimir Putin not having such a bad year 2025, it's far better astrology collectively than Ukraine and Zelensky combined, right? But again, does anybody really win in war? I don't think so. I don't think when we kill each other for anything that it's worth that what we do, the damage that's done. Let's pause here. I think at this point, I am going to do a separate video on what's happening in Israel and the Gaza Strip. I think we need to take a pause. So come back. I'm going to post a second video because this one's gotten long enough. And let's take a pause. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Peace, peace, peace to all. And I will see you soon. And until then, be well.